Hey guys, Drifter here. Welcome to Modern Warfare in Depth. In today's episode, we're going to be talking about the CR-56 DMR in Call of Duty Warzone because I think it's kind of amazing. The base CR-56 is a top-tier assault rifle in Warzone because it's kind of like a better AK-47, at least for the purposes of this mode. But I think that the 10-round M67 DMR ammo conversion for this weapon makes it the best DMR for Warzone. It is just astoundingly good and almost the only usable one, to be honest. The SKS and Mark 14 really aren't good weapons, and they aren't ones that players gravitate toward. So today I'm going to tell you why, and I'm going to give you the class that I use to just absolutely Shrek people. And let's start off by talking about the damage. This ammo conversion will deal 100 damage for headshots. This was measured in base multiplayer, so I put a little asterisk up there because I think it's actually doing more than that in Warzone. Body shots are 57, and leg shots are kind of pitiful at 48. As measured in base multiplayer, the base range is 33 meters, and the Zodiac and Monolith Suppressor are 56, but Warzone scales up all ranges for this mode, so it's going to be a little bit, or in this case, significantly further than that. Rate of fire on this ammo conversion kit is 327 rounds per minute, and that's semi-automatic, which is a little bit on the slower side, but it's still faster than the EBR-14 and almost identical to the SKS. So given those damage numbers and rate of fire and whatever, you'll find that body shots kill a full armored opponent in 733 milliseconds, and headshots kill a full armored opponent in 367 milliseconds, which are both actually kind of slow and not that impressive, or so I thought. And now comes the part of the episode where I'm going to tell you why this weapon is so good after the ad break. Today's video is sponsored by Raid Shadow Legends. It is a dark fantasy turn-based RPG done right on mobile. Not only on mobile, but also crossplay on PC as well, which is quite nice. I'm about to hit my 6-month login reward on this game, so I've been playing a lot. And what Plarium wanted me to highlight this month is the ongoing tournaments. These are local and global tournaments. A lot of them come in the form of defeat the spider boss so many times over, raid the dungeon to get so many rare items. But the one I'm competing in is the champion training event, where I level up and improve the power levels of my champions and get rewarded for it accordingly. Right now I'm in 4th place. I'm right behind Mr. Pip and Rubberneck, but I'm about to dump all of my potions into my more powerful champions, boost that up, and reclaim 3rd place so that I can get the prizes and continue to make my team stronger. But what are you waiting for? Download Raid Shadow Legends today. Using my link in the description, every new player will get 100,000 free silver, 2 clan boss keys, 10 mystery shards, and a free champion who's pretty awesome, the Adjudicator. So click the link, download Raid Shadow Legends, and I hope to be competing against you in the future. I know the last couple episodes of In Depth have had quite a few ads in them, but it just kind of contractually stacked up that way this month. But Raid is a great company. It's a great promo. I literally play it every day. I'd encourage you to check them out. But I think I'm going to be done with promos for a little bit. We're going to go a couple of weeks ad-free here because kind of everything is wrapped up after that. And now let's talk about why this DMR is so good. The Warzone time to kill is very fast if you hit headshots. It really legitimately truly deletes people if you hit headshots in Warzone, and I think it has a different multiplier than multiplayer. That was actually the 3rd time I had to say that phrase because it's such a tongue twister. So the CR-56 should require 3 headshots to kill in Warzone, but it frequently 2 shots to the head for me. There have been a lot of gunfights where I'm able to 2-tap people in the head and delete them. Now in Warzone, enemies are not going to be at the full 250 health all the time. Fresh spawn people are only going to have 200, which would be a 2-shot kill, or a 1-shot on a low armor person. But it just seemed to happen with such a frequency, and even at long ranges, to where I really legitimately suspect that the headshot multiplier might be different, and that wouldn't be out of the norm for Infinity Ward because they did a similar thing with all the marksman rifles, like the Cowboy rifle, the carbine, and the EBR-14, and the Kar-98. It gave them higher headshot multipliers to make them more viable weapons. I think that happened here on the CR-56, but Warzone's pretty much impossible to test. The damage range is definitely a lot longer than base multiplayer too, so that 50 meters or whatever, you could probably triple that. If I had to guess, it seems to maintain its high base damage at really incredible ranges in Warzone. I can 2-tap very, very, very far away. But most importantly of all, the CR-56 DMR uses assault rifle ammo, and that is a benefit that is somewhat intangible, but probably the overall best thing about this weapon compared to the other DMRs. The EBR-14 and the SKS aren't viable primarily because you only have 40 rounds of reserve ammo. Their performance is pretty similar to the CR-56, I don't think quite as good, but if you've only got 10 or maybe 20 in your magazine, and then you've got 40 rounds in reserve, you've got 3 mags, and you're completely out of ammo, and it's sniper ammo, which is a precious commodity in Warzone. So when I ran with these weapons and tried to make them work and tried to make them viable, I just burned through my ammo before I ever killed people. However, the CR-56, since it's just an ammo conversion, still uses the assault rifle ammo, so you can have 210 rounds of ammo in reserve, which is about 5 times what the other guns have, and it's a very common type of ammo that nobody fights over and is very, very easy to refill. So I think that provides just incredible value. When I'm using like the other DMRs, I always felt kind of handicapped because I was counting bullets and I had to be very precise and I needed to make sure that my shots hit because I don't have that much to spare. But with the CR-56, I can just spam away. I can just dump a mag and reload it and don't even think about it. I've got like 20 rounds, 20 mags of ammo that I can just burn through, and that's incredibly valuable. Subjectively speaking, on top of all of this, I think that the recoil on the CR-56 is more manageable than the SKS or EBR-14. This has basically no scientific merit to it. You just have to kind of trust my gameplay skills here. That's why the Warzone in-depths end up being a little bit more subjective. But I struggle to hit my shots with the Mark 14 and with the SKS. The recoil can get wobbly, it can go too high. If I'm too aggressive with it, it can be difficult to control. And I just, for whatever reason, do not hit my shots. However, I immediately found the CR-56 M67 ammo conversion to be very easy to use. I found the recoil to be almost entirely vertical, almost entirely predictable, very easy to reset. I found it still to be pretty workable when I spammed pretty hard. I mean, it wasn't perfect, but it was manageable. I hit targets at reasonable ranges. And there's something really to be said about that kind of value. That's one of the reasons that the Growl assault rifle is so valuable, is because it's so easy to use and so manageable. You can just get those shots on. Even if they're not the highest damage shots, you can still get shots at ranges where you previously couldn't with other weapons. And that's exactly what the CR-56 DMR does. With this setup and with the range and damage and low recoil, I am able to comfortably harass or pick off sniper rifles. And I want to say that again, with my designated marksman rifle, I can kill snipers. And I usually don't even snipe in this game. I always play with like really good people. They all like to snipe. I'm the guy that watches our backs, and I see these snipers and I say, all right guys, that's entirely your fight. I can't participate in this. But with this DMR, I got downs, I got kills, I got 2-tap headshots. I was deleting sniper rifles, which is that makes this the only DMR in Warzone that actually does its job as a DMR. None of the other ones I was really able to harass real snipers with very effectively. Not the SKS and not the Mark 14. No matter how hard I tried, I just couldn't quite really compete with a real sniper rifle, but the CR-56 DMR seems to do that job just fine. I will say it's definitely not the best close range weapon. Yeah, you can kill people with it. Yeah, you can get headshots. It can work. But to be honest, you probably want to pair it with a good SMG backup. There's nothing wrong with having a Fennec, an MP5, or the one that I think is the strongest is another ammo conversion. I think the AUG with the 5.56 ammo gives you a very overall reliable and long-range SMG. And I think it could be even better if you went with some of the longer barrels and kind of really tried to make like that AR, AUG for a good backup weapon. But really any SMG backup will do fine. That way you don't have to share ammo with your assault rifle and you have a ton of what we'll call sniper rounds, and then a ton of AR ammo rounds on that converted AUG SMG that still uses SMG ammo pickups but gives you assault rifle ammo. It's like doing this class just kind of gives you an overall ammo upgrade, which is kind of crazy. The only real downside to this weapon that I noticed while I was playing is that having only 10 rounds in a magazine is not ideal. That usually only lets me down one person. I'm not the most accurate player. I'm not the best at getting headshots. I do panic. I spam people. Typically, I down a person and then I have to reload, and then I down and then I have to reload. Maybe if they clump up, maybe if they're not paying attention, I can pick 2 or 3 at a time, but that's kind of uncommon. The other DMRs, the Mark 14 and the SKS, they all have bigger magazines you can equip, so you can spam harder and stay in the fight longer. And this is kind of a problem, but I feel like the other benefits pretty significantly outweigh it. And this is my best CR-56 DMR class for Warzone. You want to run the Zodiac barrel that cuts your recoil and gives you incredible range. Monolithic suppressor keeps you off of the radar and further increases that range, which, given the further increased Warzone scaling, is a very valuable thing to have. Of course, you want to run the 10-round M67 ammo, otherwise it's not really a DMR. Personally, I like stippled grip tape and VLK 3X sights for my last two attachments. Both of these can be changed. Stippled is just very simple. It's very effective on this weapon. It helps my sprint out a little bit, my ADS a little bit. I do admit that it gives my sights a little bit of wobble, but it's manageable, and I personally like the VLK 3X. I think it's one of the best sights in the game. It has no impact on my aim down sights time, which is fantastic, and I find that this is so clear I can pick off snipers pretty easily with it. If you don't want to run the stippled grip tape, you could probably run the Exo stock, which is fantastic. It'll give you better strafing speed and better ADS, or the tac laser if you just wanted to go pure ADS, but I feel like the tac laser gives me away a little bit with this kind of like always pre-fire, pre-ADS kind of weapon. And if you're not going to run the VLK sight, probably like the 4X flip hybrid would be good, or really any zoomed sight that you're comfortable with, but I try to avoid sniper scopes because then I give away my position very easily. One of my advantages with this DMR is that I will always see the sniper's little glare and know exactly where they're at, whereas they might have some difficulty finding me, and I can pop them while they're trying to do target acquisition, so I kind of avoid sniper scopes on my DMRs. Guys, that is all for this episode of In Depth. I hope that you enjoyed it. I hope that you learned something useful. If you did, don't forget to like, favorite, and subscribe, and I would highly encourage all of you to try out the CR-56 DMR in Warzone. I think a lot of you are going to like it. I want you to try it and report back to me. Let me know how it goes. And I think this episode ended up being a little bit shorter than planned. I should have extra gameplay left over, so I'm going to go ahead and put that at the end of just me murdering people with the CR-56 for a few minutes. If you enjoyed, don't forget to like, favorite, and subscribe. Drifter out.
Allied UAV overhead.
Care package marked. Lock it up, you'll live. Kill this motherfucker!
Gas is moving. Target right here.
Target ID!
Moving. You're losing ground. Contact.
Target ID! You're tough, you'll make it!
Moving. Disregard lost.
Setting explosives!
Objectives updated. Move to the next location. Gas is in. Teammate was set up to block. You'll fight for a chance to redeploy. Most wanted target dusted. Solid work.